everybody's so okay for chatting. Hello, Precious. Hello, Gloria. Hello, Karen. Good evening. Hi, Holichi. Good evening. All right, so welcome to this episode of the informational session by for weekend. Now, basically, weekend. We all know what weekend is. Weekend is the Women in Career Advancement Network, and I just wanted to. I'll just wait a little bit, maybe like another 2 minutes for other people to join, then we can just go straight to the point because our guest speaker today has a lot of things, has another meeting. Let me put it that way. So yeah, good. I'm standing here today. Um, Okay, good evening once again. Welcome to this informational session for Women in Career Advancement Network. My name is Eniola Peters. I'm the convener of the community, and I just wanted to give a brief background on how the community started. So, in April, we had our first event to celebrate Women's Month, which was in March, and then after which we came together as women and decided to be of help to each other because I mean we are all with God technically. So yeah, we created the network and we decided to be having informational sessions every month, at least once a month, which we can show open to the public and all that. And last month we had an informational session on imposter syndrome, dealing with imposter syndrome. We had Miss Opeyemi Shoshola Oluokun speak on that, and it was fantastic. And today we have a guest with us, Madam Ore Adekoya. She is. I wrote on Instagram that I met Ore. The meeting with Ore was quite funny because. Okay, so let me give you guys the gist. Who wants to hear the gist? Let me know if you guys are actually here with me. Who wants to hear the gist of how I met Ore? Ore, I know you're here and you're laughing because I'm sure that that's my name on your phone is still Eniola MC. It has changed. Okay, so when I was much younger, I used to be the MC of anything that happens in church. I was programs coordinator. In fact, some people felt that was my career path. Like I would actually end up being a compare at events and organizing wedding planning, party planning, and all that. Okay, fun fact: I still do that on the side. Well, not on the side. I still plan events, but I made it corporate events. I don't like stress. So I remember when Aura was planning our wedding that year. How many years ago now? And she was looking for MC, and then somebody went to tell her that, oh, Eniola is a very good MC. You should actually talk to her and all that. And then she came to meet me and said, Aura is very funny. You are going to experience her today. She came to meet me and said, I heard you did MC for this person. I said, yes. She said, I don't want a female MC. I said, so why did you come and meet me? Like, why did you come and meet me? She said she just came out of curiosity or something like that. And it was just interesting that we just eased up like that. And that's just to say that you can meet anybody anywhere. Networking is very important, and that's how we became very good friends. I don't even know, we clicked a lot. Like, oh my god, her and I, we have a very interesting and strange relationship. And I think I'm even close as her husband, but I have a cooler relationship with her. She's a fantastic babe. She's amazing. She's down to earth. She doesn't even hide anything. Because she said one thing. I think something about I don't want rain to fall on my wedding or something. Or can you remember? Inside gist, yes. So she's a fantastic lady, and I'm going to just read her profile now, and you guys would. Hey, I said it. See, Eniola MC. I just knew. Oh my god, alright, for real. That's sure that career. That's showing that career path. We just, you know, imagine career path and you're like MC. I think I should go back to that now. Okay, it's so funny. Okay, so I'm just going to read our profile, and then I'd like every one of us to welcome her. So Orelua is a supply chain executive with over 10 years experience in the manufacturing, finance, and educational sectors. She studied economics at the University of Lagos. She has a degree in supply chain management from London Academy Business School, and she's currently an executive MBA candidate at Warwick Business School, Coventry, UK. Alright, come and show me the way now. Anyway, Orelua started her career as a research analyst in Cardinal Stone Partners, an independent multi-asset investment management firm. She then moved on to Nestle, where she held various roles such as import and export officer, demand planner, supply planner, and DSP manager. She's currently the regional head of customer supply chain at Nestle Central and West Africa, and is the youngest female member of the supply chain leadership team. She hosts a weekly podcast on YouTube called Tiki Talks, where she talks about career and business related insights. Aura is a travel enthusiast who loves to visit new places and curate exciting experiences. She loves storytelling as well and journals her experiences through Aura's travel diaries and Tiki Travels on Instagram. Aura is passionate about ministry and helping young people to be all God has called them to be. She's married to my paddy, my one and only paddy, Adekoya, and they have two boys, Oluwatimilei and Iyanoluwa. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me to this amazing informational session, Mrs. Ore Adekoya. Now, all right, please let's clap for her. Let's clap for her. You are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Hi, Eniola, and thank you so much for having me. And yes, I hardly change people's names on my phone. I don't know why. I have a very bad habit. So as you were talking, I just opened my phone and I just said, let me take a screenshot and show how your name is. Yes, it's still Eniola MC after all these years. All right. So thank you once again. And I do not take these opportunities for granted, because I believe that we're all here to um, not just to get to the top of our career and to boast that, oh, okay, I achieved this, I achieved that, but it's also to help other people climb up the ladder as well, because we were all helped by someone above us who held our hands and then pulled us up and all. So I really do not take this kind of opportunities for granted at all. I remember when I first met Eniola, I was very raw that time. So I remember Eniola, I don't know if you remember, my first makeup kit Eniola gave me. I'm sure Eniola was saying, who is this girl? This girl will just come out of her house. No makeup, no anything. Just enter like that. Like, or maybe she was saying that, baby, you're fine. No, let's do something to help to help her that up. So really, then I didn't send. Honestly, I didn't send because she now gave me. I think she had there was a lipstick, there was powder, there was eyeliner. Like, she gave me a whole package, even gave me makeup bag. Like, okay, at least be doing something. Don't just leave your house like that without anything. And really, I really, really, really appreciate, because prior to that, I'm like, oh, I'm natural. Anybody should accept me the way I am. This is how God made me. Anybody that cannot accept me like this should take it like that. But then that gesture went a long way for me. And I'm like, it really, really touched me. Like, oh, somebody actually cared that much, and then bought everything, and then just gave it to me and said, oh, be that I should be using and improve my appearance. And it never left me, actually. It never ever left me. And I was really, really appreciative. I remember when the first time I went to Eniola's house and I saw her shoe rack. Hey, God. I was like, can a
Correct.
human being have this many shoes? Like, I just saw the shoe rack. I'm like, what? Maybe at that time, honestly, at that time, maybe I had maybe 5 shoes, maybe. So you have your almighty black shoe, your black heels that you wear everywhere. Then maybe you have one
Correct.
brown one. Then you have one gold sandals that you wear with traditional outfits. So maybe then I had maybe one sneakers. You guess I just had like then one sandal, flat sandals. Oton, 5 things. But then I just saw shoes. I'm like, wow, wow, wow. One human being. How did you buy all these shoes? Everything. Like, it was really unbelievable to me then. But you look at my life now. One day I was looking at my shoe rack. I just said, already look at you. You that you were looking at Eniola then that, this girl is vain. See shoes. How she spend all this money on shoes and stuff like that. But then over the years, I realized that shoes are really a very important part of your look. So I started investing, and somehow I developed a love for shoes. I started investing in buying good quality shoes and all that. So, but Eniola gave me image at that time that, so somebody can have 5 shoes. And then I started, looking into colors, like, because most people stick with neutral colors. Okay, you do the black, you do the nude, you do the silver, you do the gold. And then I said, okay, I can actually, and I started trying some crazy colors like green, like yellow, purple, orange. Like, I started adding all those shoes to my collection. I'm like, me too, I'll shake my head. I said, I'm building my shoe rack like Eniola did. Anyway, so let's jump right into it. And Eniola has read my bio, right? And for me, I always like to, every time my bio is being read, I always say, is this me that they are talking about? Because really, honestly and truly, and I'm not trying to be, this is not me forming humble or trying to downgrade where I am right now. But I've really experienced the grace of God when my career is concerned. I've really, really experienced the grace, and I would not, and I will never, ever take that for granted. I will never, attribute where I am today, because where I am today is not even it's not my destination. I'm still going up. So it'd be very foolish of me to say I've arrived, I'm here now and all that. But it's by God's grace that He has led me here, and I'm still going there. I'm still very young in my career, right? Because I still have 20 years they're about to go. So yeah, I still have a long way to go. And I know that God is taking me places, really. There's just some things that were quite unexplainable that I can't really pinpoint to say, okay, I did this, I did that, I did blah, blah, blah. I can't really pinpoint. I just know that, oh, this was the hand of God. In fact, so Eniola said that when she was reading my bio, she mentioned that I have a podcast called Tiki Talks. So it's on YouTube, and I just put some excerpts on IG as well, and Spotify, right? So what happened was that one day my pastor just looked at me and said, all right, what are you doing about your career and, helping other people? That can't you see that God's hand is on your career? That was the statement that he made. And then I said, okay, what can I do? Because up until then, I'm like, okay, it wasn't anything that I did really. And I recognized that it wasn't anything spectacular and all that. But I said, all right, so I'll start. So I started putting up a few thoughts on IG. So I'll do some slides, some carousels, put them, and I realized, okay, it was gaining a bit of traction. And somebody walked up to me and said, why don't you turn this into a video that people would appreciate recordings and stuff? And then that's how I started recording it. And the comments and the feedback that I've gotten has been so overwhelming, and I'm like, okay, there are just some things that I have taken for granted over the years that I know, that I realize that not everybody knows, so it's important for us to help each other, lift each other up, and encourage each other as we climb this ladder of our careers. So my assumption is that we're all ladies that are just starting out in our careers, right? So um, uh, these things that I'll be sharing today are more for people that are just starting out, and then how you can grow in your career, and those strategies for making you get ahead faster, right? So that's what I'm going to be sharing today. So let me say a little bit of my story. To where, let me see, I'm thinking of which part of my story I should pick, right? So I currently work in Nestle, the regional head of customer supply chain. So I manage around 25 countries in West Africa, right? So what we do is we implement strategies for our customers and then ensure that we are replenishing them in all our stocks. They are paying on time and they were keeping them satisfied, basically. So that's what I do currently. A few times along my career, I've been stuck where I felt like I wasn't moving. I've spent 12 years in Nestle, and believe me, I never thought I would spend up to 12 years. I never ever thought. In fact, by year 5, I was already tired. And I said, I'm not moving as fast as I thought. This work is getting boring and I just need to get out of here. Right. So I remember then I went to do an interview in PZ. Like now looking back, I'm just shaking my head. PZ and Nestle, like I don't get. But I knew it, at that time, a couple of people had moved between Nestle and PZ also for the same reasons. Maybe they had felt they were stuck and then they wanted a move and a change and then they went. So I said, okay, let me try PZ. And then I interviewed in PZ, and at that time they were offering me about 1 million more than what I was currently earning. I think I was earning at that time probably around 4 million there, roughly. And they were offering me 5 million. So I went to meet my boss. And I said, oh, so PZ gave me an offer and all. And what do you think? And then he said, don't move. Of course, the first instinct is to think that he was being selfish and he was just thinking about himself. But he said, all right, when I see that move for you, I will know it. That don't move for, he said, what is 1 million? He said, 1 million is nothing. At that point in time, 1 million was like a lot of money, like 1 million naira. This was 1 million an annum, oh, please, oh, it's not, it's not monthly, oh. It was 1 million. So I was being paid 4 million naira per annum. And then PZ was offering me 5 million naira per annum. And then he said, move for either of two things. He said, move for double your salary or move for a managerial position. And I looked at him. At that point, I couldn't see double my salary. I couldn't see it. Double. Like I should be earning 8 million naira per annum. How? Like, and he was like, yeah, it's possible. And I said, I'll move for a managerial position. He said, all right, you're manager material. So don't be in a rush to move for just the same, because it was the same position I was moving to. They were just offering me slightly more money, and that's how I stayed. And I realized that all through I've had opportunities um to be dissatisfied, right? There was also a time where I felt, okay, I'm in the supply chain department, and there was a time I felt like supply chain wasn't for me and I needed to move to another department. So, and marketing is where the cool guys are, all the brand guys that are doing activations and all that, they're talking to people and stuff. Like I felt like, oh, that's where it's happening and that's where I want to move to. So I told one lady that I wanted to move there, and then I did a couple of interviews. Guess what? So by that time, I had another boss. It's my boss that blocked my move, and I was angry. Like, why would you do that? Like, I want to move. You're not the owner of my life, and blah, blah, blah. Looking back, that was a grace of God. That was the hand of God restricting me from moving. Because if I had made that move, I would still have been on that position still now. Yes, I'll have been a manager. The move was for a managerial position. But after manager, yeah, so what? Like a position after manager, and after there's a senior manager, there's a senior manager, there's a senior manager, and I have moved, across all those ranks up till now. But if I had moved to that role at that time, I would have probably have remained in the same place, right? So for me, my manager thought he was doing me dirty, right? But it was just the hand of God. Like I said, no, it's not that. That's not for you. So there was another time when I had another manager, and the position in marketing became open again, and the lady came to tell me, all right, apply. It's time. And I looked at her. I looked her straight in the eye and I said, I'm not going to apply. She was like, are you serious? She said, why? I said, well, my boss is on maternity leave. So I had a female boss at that time. She's on maternity leave and I'm the one relieving her. And she was like, your boss has gotten pregnant. She's having her babies. She's living her life. You are here thinking about her, how you make your decision. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense, but I just didn't feel like it was right at that time. I just said, no, I'd rather stay, and then I stayed. It was not long after that I became the manager of my team, right? And then after that, I became a senior manager still in the same team. And then, there were just all sorts of levels of growth that I had, right? So it was a good thing. And I'm saying all this to say sometimes it's not about, and I really don't want this to be a aspire to perspire, push kind of session, like, oh, you can do it, you can have whatever you want and all that. Yes, I'll talk about strategies. I'll talk about that. But I really want to emphasize, I don't know if we're all Christians here, but I am. And I just want to emphasize that there's a place of God in your career. There are some moves that you shouldn't make. There's some companies that are going to fold up that you don't know, right? You just don't know. There are some companies that they will offer you plenty money. And then I know somebody that moved from Nestle to this company, and they were going to pay him, I think it was 10,000. They're going to pay him in dollars, if I remember correctly, $10,000. He earned that money for 6 months, and then the company ran into issues and all, and then they stopped paying salary, But these are things that you don't know. As at the time when you are applying, you just see a good company, they offer you good money and all that. You don't know about the people you work with. You don't know about the environment. If the environment is a toxic environment, is this somewhere where you should be? People ask me that, oh, why have you stayed so long in Nestle, like 12 years and all that? I said, I've just not felt like it's time, right? And especially when you work with a multinational, if you're leaving a multinational, right, there are just some companies that you cannot leave for. So if you're leaving, there are some even roles that you cannot leave for, right? Because you're already at a certain level in terms of the structure of the organization that I work with and all that. There's already a certain level that we are, right? So leaving for another company, you need to be sure, they have those fundamentals, their work culture, their environment and all that. And for me, up until now, I haven't yet seen, it's not that I'm comfortable in Nestle and then I want to retire there and all that, but I've just felt like, I've not felt that leading of God that it's time. And thankfully, God has blessed me. I have grown in my career and all that. And Nestle is a really good place to have kids. Very, very good place, very supportive. They have good maternity policies, right? So I had, I think, 4 months paid maternity leave, and then you have your normal annual leave. So in some companies, in the year you get pregnant, you can't take your normal annual leave. You only take your maternity leave, but Nestle allows you take your maternity leave, and then you can still take your annual leave as well, which is good. We have a creche in my office. So when my children were young, I used to bring them to work and I could easily breastfeed in the creche. And so all those things, all those perks. So yeah, I got married after I joined the company. I think my second or third year in the company, I had my first child. 3 to 4 years after that, I had my second child. And then while I was still, I think while my second child was about 1 or 2, then I became the manager of the team, and then I got promoted. So there has always been an incentive to stay, basically, and then also because I just didn't have that leading of God yet to leave, and I always ask God that, God, when it's time, let me know that it's time. I don't want to leave at the wrong time. I don't want to leave just because, oh, I'm tired, I want something new, I'm being pressured or something and something, right? Okay, let me get enough about me. Let me get right into what I have put. And I wrote down 10 points that I need you to take note of in order to grow your career. Now, I want you to know that in this 10 thing, it's not as if all the 10, I'm doing all the 10, because as I was writing, I know the things that I'm working on personally. I know the things that I have mastered. There are quite a number of them that I know that, okay, this is my weak point and I need to work. So I'm not coming today in any way to say, oh, these 10 things are the things that moved me up because I had all 10 of them. But you can start with 1, 2, 3, right? You can start with those ones and then grow it. Okay, take it to the fourth, take it to the fifth, and then start working on them gradually. Some of them will take you months to acquire. Some of them will take you years. But it's important that you have those things at the back of your mind. And I believe that if everyone should take these things seriously, it's just a matter of time. Your career growth is inevitable, right? Of course, with the grace of God, and then following the leading of God, actually, also very important, because there are some organizations from hell. Like there are some really, really toxic organizations that you shouldn't be in, and those ones, even the best people get frustrated and all that. So I'm talking from a point of view of you're working in a relatively good organization that has good values and principles and all that, right? And these are the things that would help. So the first is something that it shouldn't be said, but we just live in an environment where we just have to say it. You need to be competent in what you do, right? You need to understand your job. Like, why are you growing and you're not even mastered what you're currently doing? You need to master and learn and learn and learn, especially at the beginning stages of your career. Your work in the first 1 to 5 years is learning and learning and learning. Of course, you know that the business world is very different from school, very, very different, especially if you schooled in this Nigeria, where the theories that they taught you in school, you're wondering, like, where are these things applicable in the real world? You don't see any of them, right? So you need to now start learning how business is done, right? You need to start learning your contribution to the team and be competent in the work that they have given you. The Bible talks about faithfulness, that if you are not faithful in another man's, who will hand you your own? Bible also talks about whoever is faithful over little will be faithful over much, right? So if you cannot be faithful when you're not a manager, and everybody knows that you're not faithful as a non-manager, who will give you your own? Who will give you your own to manage, a team to manage? When another person is the manager, you have not managed what the person has given you, but then you want them to give you manager. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So you need to ensure that you are competent, you are knowledgeable, and you keep learning. Unfortunately, learning does not stop, even if you are the CEO. Because guess what? Even the way we do business as is changing. Business strategies are changing. COVID-19 was a major shift in how businesses strategize. And so a lot of businesses had to go back to the drawing board to say, okay, what are things we're going to change? What are things we're going to improve? Now there's a digitalization wave that is changing everything, and everyone has to think in that direction, right? So every time you keep learning. So don't think, oh, I've mastered my role, I've arrived and all that. No, things keep changing all the time, and you need to be currently abreast of what is happening. You can decide to read wide in my industry. What are the new trends? What are the new things that are happening? How can I improve my skills and then bring value to this organization, right? I think that would be my number one and the most important, because if you're not competent, what are you offering? You don't have anything to offer. Yes, some people, suck up to bosses and then what's this word now? Kissers and stuff, and try to do eye service, and that will get you so far. It can only get you so far. Guess what? You get to a level and then now you are the CEO. you actually need to now start taking decisions, important decisions. What will you do at that point if you have had to, do eye service all along and never really learned what you were supposed to learn? So that's really, really, really key. Now, my number 2 is go the extra mile and deliver strong performance. I still had this conversation with one of my team members yesterday. So I asked her to get me some data. And then we have a Power BI dashboard where the data is, right? I'm assuming we know what Power BI is, but Power BI is like a data warehouse anyway. So she just went to Power BI and took a screenshot for me and sent it to me. And I said, okay, that I want to see a trend. So I asked for the data from last year to this year. So she took the snapshot of last year and then she took the snapshot of this year. And then she sent both snapshots to me. I said, oh, I want to see the trend from last year to this year. And she was like, that I don't have access to the data, that I'll have to go to another department and go and to the department that worked on the Power BI and get it. Blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, I just want to see it in one slide. You don't have to go to the department. Just put the data there, put it in one graph for me. And she was still saying that, oh, I don't have access and blah, blah, blah. And I looked at this girl, like, I just opened my Excel sheet. I went to that graph. I copied it manually by myself because it was a screenshot. I copied it manually. I just said January 75, February 82. I put it on a slide and I sent to her. I said, was this too much for you to do? Like, you couldn't just look at the picture, copy the number and put it in an Excel and give me a bar chart that shows from January to date? Like, is that too big for you? Are you so lazy that you have to wait for them to send you the data so that you can do the graph? Like, I'm like, for me, that's not even extra mile. That's not extra mile. That's normal mile. It's not extra. But you should be willing to go above and beyond and put in an extra work just to get the job done. You don't expect to just do, this is what they told me to do. I've done it all. And then you go. Like yesterday, my boss asked me for some information. He said, all right, I need this data. I didn't just send him the data. I interpreted the data for him. I said, boss, this is the trend, blah, 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 but this represents 30% of what you asked for. And the insight is that this 30% has been there for. I gave him a bit more data. I didn't just do this is what they say I should. Boss, you say I should do this, do it and go. If somebody asks you for data, have you asked, oh, what do you want to use the data for, right? How can I add more value? Are there any insights you want to see from the data? Or you yourself go into the data and see, okay, are there any insights here that I can bring out to say, oh, you can see that the trend is declining or it's increasing or something, or we need to, are you thinking? Are you thinking about what extra things can I add? Anyway, in other points, I would touch on more things about that as well. But don't just say, this is what they told me to do, and I've done it. If you do that, you are being paid a salary. That's what your salary is for. You shouldn't expect to grow just because you did what they told you to do. If you have done what they told you to do, beautiful. You earn your salary and you go home. But if you want to grow, you can't just do what they told you to do. You need to go the extra mile, right? The third thing, which is also related in that extra mile, is start demonstrating that you are ready for a more senior role. You need to now start thinking at the level of a leader. You need to think at the level of a leader, right? You need to now start putting yourself in your boss's shoes. I had I've suffered in this life. I had a team member that said, so I had two. I'll give an example of two. So my current role, I joined it 2 years ago, right? It's going to be 2 years in September. So of course I was working with new people that I wasn't used to and stuff. And these are people that had been quite a while in the organization. They were older than me, right? I'm younger than all of them, So I asked two of them within the team to do a presentation. One of them, incidentally, is very old. This guy is, in fact, he's going to retire in the next 2 years, right? And I asked another lady in my team to do a presentation, over time, because I'm a very visual person. So I said, put it in a slide. And I learned that from my bosses. I'll say, put it in a slide, let me see the trend, put some data into it and all that, explain this, blah, 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 blah. So I always demand presentation from them, right? So there was this day that I had two of them send me presentation. I asked two of them to do presentation for me. Now, this lady told me that, all right, that I've put the data together, so maybe you can do the presentation by yourself since you are good in presentation. This time my mouth was open, like, are you kidding me? And you are the people complaining that, who is this Ore? Why did they make Ore to come and be our boss? What does she know? She's a small girl, blah, blah, blah. And I said, and you don't want to do my work for me, right? Because I need to start doing my boss's work. I have been doing my boss's work since I have been in meetings where my boss can attend and be like, all right, please attend this meeting for me. I'm shaking. I'm like, oh God, I'm attending meeting with all these big guys and everything. But I take it up as an opportunity. It's a big opportunity for me. And I sit down there and I'm like, okay, I prepare, I ask questions, okay, what should I do? What should I prepare for? What should I say? What I think they will ask and all that. But I get ready for that meeting. I ensure that I'm doing my boss's work. Guess what? Because if I'm doing my boss's work, I'm showing that I can be on that level without, so that before they even hand me my own, I have shown that I am faithful in another man's. I have shown that I can do this guy's work before, because organizations don't want to take a risk. They don't want to give a managerial position to somebody that they are not sure that they can handle it. So if you already start demonstrating that you can do, of course, you don't have to do 100%, because some of it you learn on the job. But if you can do a certain percentage of your boss's role above you, you are also demonstrating that level of capability. So back to this, my two people. The second guy, when I asked for another presentation and he showed it to me, I'm like, wow, this is a guy that is 2 years to retirement. He's in his late 50s. And I said, this presentation is so good. And he laughed. He was like, my boss is good in presentation, or referring to me. Said that I have to sit up. And I looked at him. I'm like, this is a 58-year-old guy telling me, small me, like, oh, that I have to sit up. And for me, it was the effort that he put into it. Like he constantly made an effort to improve himself and to get more like me, that my boss is operating at this level. So I also have to start thinking at that level, right? So for me, those two mindsets, who is the person that you think, well, unfortunately, he's already close to retirement, so there's probably no possibility. But who is more likely for me to hand over to if I'm to move to another department, right? It's the guy, because he's trying to think like me. He's trying to say, how would Ora have presented this information? And he's listening. Every time I give him feedback on the presentation and all that, he goes back, polishes his skills, and has gotten so much better over the years, right? Another thing tied to this point is you need to also start developing people under you, right? People that can take up what you're currently doing. This really applies to when you are more like in middle management, right? When I was a DSP manager, I had a team. And for me, my priority was developing my team member. I took it very, very seriously on developing them. When I go and leave, I tell them, handle everything, take your decisions and blah, blah, blah. Only if fire is burning, don't call me, but take decision. And I was ready to support them all the way in the decisions that they took. I was ready to support them, right? But then eventually I realized that I had poured so much into them that they didn't even need me. I was really useless in the team, because when I come, all right, we've done this. Oh, we had the meeting. We shared it to the CEO. We did it. Oh, we did this analysis. We've spoken to the factory manager. We blah, blah, blah. I said, so what am I doing here again? Nothing. At that time, I was demonstrating that I was ready for the next role. Because obviously, another thing that keeps people in their current role is if the organization you're in moves you to another position, who will do that previous work? And they don't want that previous work to suffer. So that's why a lot of people will stay where they are for years and all that, because they have not developed anybody else that can do the things that they can do. Even if he's a copper, if he's an intern or somebody, because nobody is indispensable. Nobody is indispensable. But at the same time, you need to ensure that you are developing people under you, so that the excuse the organization gives does not become, who will do your work if we move you? You have gotten over that hurdle, right? And then you have developed people under you. So two things under this point. You need to demonstrate that you can do your boss's work, you can think at that level, and then you're developing people under you as well. Now, closely related to that point in point 4 is prioritize being a business leader. Prioritize being a business leader. Prioritize leadership. Leadership is so, so, so important, right? And leadership is It's something that you can learn even without holding the position of manager, right? You can be a leader at all levels. And what's leadership? Influence. Leadership is simply influence. Can you influence people to say, okay, this is what we should do, right? As an organization, this is what we should do. Why? Because I have looked at the trends are going towards this direction. So I feel that this is the direction we should go on. This is what will move our organization forward. That's thinking like a leader. You're not just thinking of, let me do what they told me to do. They told me to move from point A to point B. I've moved it and I carry my bag and I go home. No, you need to now start thinking about your decision, the thing that you are doing, what they have handed over to you to do, right? How are you doing it, and how are you doing it well? How are you doing it efficiently? How are you looking at the big picture in it? I have to run now. I have very few minutes to go. So number 5 is take ownership, coordinate effectively, and complain less. Take ownership. Don't say that's my boss's responsibility. What's my own? Am I the one I need the money? Maybe they are the one collecting all the money and they are paying all the bonuses and all that. No, take ownership, and people notice these things. People notice, especially when your manager is on leave. That's where it comes to the fore. That's when all the ownership you have not taken in the past. That's when it becomes. I'll say it in Yoruba. Yoruba, they say ashiri matu. It means that your secret will come out. That's when it comes out. But if you have been taking ownership and learning to lead gradually, when your manager was around, now that your manager is on leave, and then maybe suddenly it now falls to you, how does that play out, right? Are you still saying, I'm waiting for them to come, but everything you're calling your manager, how do we do this? How do we do that? What do we do? It's okay to do that in the initial stage. It is very okay. But after 5 years of being on the same role, you are still calling your manager for every little decision. No, there are some things that you should be able to take. You should call your manager to let them know that, oh, I did this, right? Is that fine? Not, what should we do? We are in a fix, blah, blah, blah. Again, there are a few circumstances where you would have that, right? There are a few things where you have to call and ask your manager, but it's not every single thing. What can I do? The other day, somebody with my team was sending me mail. Oh, I want to send a mail to senior leadership. Come and read the mail. Is it okay? I said, geez, at my level, I'm doing proofreading for somebody. Somebody at this stage has not learned how to compose a business email. Somebody has not learned. But I still have to remove. Imagine I'm still correcting things like comma, putting. I said, Jesus, I've suffered in my life. Like, and sometimes these things just irk me. Like, for real? All these years of your career, you have not taken this into everything. That means that everything. In fact, sometimes I hear people say, people will send me an email. Some of my team members send me an email and say, all right, please review. All right, please. I said, you to review it by yourself. Have you even opened this thing and read it? Have you opened it? I say, all right, review. Let the manager review. It's at work. And I just shake my head at this little thing. I'm like, is this person joking? Then a position will become open and then we bypass you. And then you are like, this organization is not fair. It's not fair. They're not treating me correctly. Well, for what? So we'll put you there. So you send an email to the global head and your font size, you use font size, you use Arial fonts to start. You use Comic Sans in the middle. Then in the last one, the fonts will be smaller. So you don't do things. Those are like basic. Those are even kindergarten, elementary things, right? You need to take ownership and start doing things like, if I'm the manager of this team, if this thing has been placed in my hand, how will I handle it appropriately? How will I do it as best as I can? Right? And then stop complaining, stop being these are the issues we have. We have issue 1, 2, 3. Be a solution provider. And organizations want people that solve problems, because problems, especially in this Nigeria, problems full everywhere. Everywhere, especially in my team. Oh, we're dealing with issues all the time. Issues. Oh, we're bringing one consignment from China. There's Red Sea. They are fighting somewhere. Oh, China. The Chinese are blah, blah, blah. Oh, customs have blocked our shipments. Oh, custom. Are you the person that is always sending email? We have issue. If you're sending an email with an issue, are you preferring possible solutions to say, okay, we can do A, B, even if they don't take it? But at least the fact that you are thinking, you're not just thinking that this is the problem, go and solve it all. But you're saying, oh, we can do 1 or 2 or 3. It goes a long way and it projects you as a leader, right? Not just somebody that is complaining about the issue. This office said they are not serious. And there's no perfect organization. None. Microsoft, Google, Oracle, all those places, there are no perfect organizations. Well, organizations are all filled with imperfect people. So you will always have issues. Always. Always. So you need to always look beyond the issues that you are having and say, how can I help my organization to solve this problem? And that's how people grow. That's how leaders are born, right? So my number 6, polish your communication skills, especially in presentations and meeting discussions. Perception, they say, is reality. I know somebody in my office, this guy is all fluff. But if you see the guy presenting, packaging, and that's why I mentioned that thing about Eniola, when Eniola gave me my makeup kit. The way you appear is so important, because the way you appear, that how people will take you. When I'm going for a meeting with my management committee, I don't dress anyhow. I make sure that I'm well. I look at myself in the mirror like this. In fact, there was one day I stayed with my friend, and then I had a presentation the next day. I took my slides. I started looking at it. I was even talking to myself. I said, so we grew at 50% from 2023 to 2024. Okay, now our projection are saying 10%. But she was like, all right, this is how you do. So you come out, you package everything. They will not know that. I said, this is how I do. Oh, don't even come and think. Don't come and look at that packaging. I prepare. I don't just go and appear before them and do anyhow. I don't. I prepare. I take my slide. As in, I now even start thinking like them. I say, so if I'm the CEO now and already come to present this thing to me, what are the things that they can ask her? I will look at their slide, and now I'll start thinking of maybe their pinpoints that I know about, right? And then I'll start thinking, okay, if they ask this, where's the data? Let me get the data. If they ask this is what I do that iteration before the presentation itself. I don't just do slide and show people and say, this is it. No, because leaders will ask questions, and you need to be, you cannot go and say, I don't know. What's that? Let me even teach you guys something. One time, this was how many years? A couple of years ago. So I was a demand planner then, right? As a demand planner, I just used to do forecasting and basically forecasting, right? But I was in the demand and supply planning department. And so in my department, we also the supply planning team deals with capacity of the lines. We have machines. So the machines have capacities, right? So and a lot of people don't know the difference between a demand planner and a supply planner. So the CEO, I was in a meeting with the CEO, and the CEO said, oh, what's the capacity of the Chocomilo line? And I looked at him and I said, I don't know. He said, so what are you doing here? Hey, I felt like entering the ground that day. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm not a supply planner. How do you expect me to know that it's no day, whatever? I didn't say that, but that's what I felt in my mind. But later, I said, all right, never again, never. How can you be so foolish? I slapped myself like my son would do. I said, how can you be so foolish? And all that. After that day, you will not catch me on fresh. You will not catch me. I said, all right, instead of saying you don't know, you are the demand planner, right? You know, at least that one, you know how much you sell in Chocomilo. You know that all those times when we used to ask for more, they say they don't have more. That means that the capacity of the line is more or less equal to what we are forecasting. So you could have said around 3,500 tons. Sometimes, but to just say, I don't know. Hey, I think that's the mistake that I made. And I never made that. Sometimes when I don't know number, I don't know degree spot. And they ask me something. In my mind, I just quickly think, okay, what is the probable? Or give a wide range. Oh, it's between 5,000 to 6,000. It's between 7,000 to it's about, it's estimated. But you cannot come outside and say, I don't know. You give something, then sometimes, my friend even touched me on. She said, even if you give something that is wrong, then after the meeting, go and meet the person that asked you. They say, oh, yes, I just checked it and it's actually 5% and blah, blah, blah. Chikena, you have corrected it with that, but not in front of the whole room. You have said, I don't know. They say, this one does not even know anything, right? So those are the kind of things that, I prepare for when I'm going into a business presentation and everything. Like, I must be on point, right? Especially with management committee. So I have to run. Of course, learn how to present appropriately, learn how to make your points, learn how to do slides, always invest time in learning how to polish your presentation slide, because when your slides are interesting, people are more inclined to listen to you rather. They want to hear what you want to say. But if you just put a boring slide, your slides are a reflection of you, right? They say, okay, if they already see a boring slide, it means that this presentation is going to be boring. But imagine if you have, of course, your slides should not be, you should not have things flying all over the place, flying, sliding, all those things in PowerPoint, yeah? But at least have a good balance of picture, text and all that, and make it as fun as possible. That way people want to listen to what you have to say. Again, in this age, a lot of people, once you start presenting, they'll bring their phone and start pressing. You don't want to be the one that when you are presenting, people are pressing phone. You want to have the audience of people in the room. A quick guide for if you're doing presentation, in case there's anybody that does presentation here. What I try to do is I think of the end game. What do I want to achieve at the end of this presentation, right? And then I now map my journey back. Okay, I want them to approve this training that I'm planning for my team, right? Okay, how do I want them? What do I want them to? How do I want to achieve that? Then I now start selling the benefits. Okay, in this training, we're going to learn about ARS, we're going to learn about prepaid, we're going to learn about this, and at the end of the day, this is very critical for sales. This and this is changing, and blah blah blah. You walk back, right? And then make sure that your slides tell a story. People love stories. It's not about Tales by Moonlight or something. A story is like you take them through a journey. You have an introduction, you have a beginning, a middle point, and then you have a conclusion and how you end it, right? Okay. Number 7 is think customer and consumer, right? Think about, at the end of the day, every business is there to make money. You are there to save the customer. You are there to save the consumer. So what are the things that can earn the business more money? What are those things? You should think about those things and think about how we can grow whatever it is that you are doing. It can be even a letter that you are writing. You could be the secretary or something. It doesn't mean that you cannot bring up things that are consumer and customer centric, right? I'm running. Speak business language. This is actually connected to point 7. Start speaking business language, saying things like, we need to make more sales, profit, and all that stuff. Start thinking like that. How can we grow this business? Everybody wants to think of how we can grow the business. At the end of the day, every organization, no organization is there as even charity organizations self, they still want to grow and make more impact. So you need to ensure that you are aligned with that business language, right? Number 8 is leverage digital technology. Things are changing. The way business is done has really, really changed, right? So even me, I'm trying to, say I've already talked to my IT team. I need AI in this. I need to start doing machine learning. These things we're spending more time. I need a Power BI report. I cannot have a human being churning out a report for 2 hours that a Power BI can do in 2 seconds, right? So I do that. I try to see how technology can help me to be faster and frees up time for me to think more strategically, right? Number 9 is think end to end always. Don't just think, my own is this one, or this is what they gave me, and then I stop. But think, how are my actions impacting other people as well? How are my actions impacting other teams? What is the impact of, am I just doing something and creating problem for the next department along the chain? So you also have to think of that end-to-end impact. I know a lot of people that have gotten recognition in my office on projects that they did. Like, I'll give one. There was one project that somebody did to reduce the cartons. So our products are packed in cartons. So to reduce the what do they call it now? The layers of carton we use. And by removing one layer, we're able to save about maybe 10% cost. So the person presented the project, 10% saving. Imagine 10% saving in one carton. Multiply that the millions of cartons that we sell. That's a lot of money. So it looks like, wow, it was a big project. It's a savings. The company is going to save money and blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Somewhere down the line, we realize that these cartons are not sturdy, right? So when you stack them on each other, they start collapsing. Who are you creating problem for? You're creating problem for the warehouse guys. Because imagine you are working in the warehouse, suddenly cartons fall on your head, somebody is injured, right? Or what still, somebody died, God forbid. So those things, you need to think that, you need to remember that it doesn't just stop at you. Your actions impact someone else. So you need to think that end-to-end process. And then finally, show courage to tackle challenges. I believe I talked about this earlier on, where there's no organization that is perfect. None. there will always, always, always be challenges in every organization. And so you cannot always be running away from challenges. You need to say, okay, in a challenge situation, what do we need to do? Galvanize people together. Start acting like the leader, even if you are not the leader, but start providing solutions. Oh, I think we can do this. I think we can do this. You can't just leave it to your manager and don't say it's their problem. Let them come up with something and all that. But you need to start thinking about those issues and then how you can solve them, right? Okay, so those are my 10 things for how to grow your career. I really hope I have helped somebody here. I really, really hope so. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Wow. Or thank you so much. This has been amazing. Honestly, it's really been amazing because I know you very well and I know you're very good at what you do, right? I know when you interviewed for Nestle now. I remember all those times and all that. And then, by the way, you know when I was pregnant for Mitchell, you remember you sent me one package like that. For please, I'm expecting
Oh,
another
really?
one.
Oh,
Yes,
I
you did.
forgot, Oh.
It's like I was like, hey, benefit of working in Nestle, or else if I forget, I swear something if I forget.
Oh my.
I'm expecting my choco Milo, my peak milk, and all that. All right.
All
Okay, so I
right,
think
all
I'm
right.
ready for the question. So let me just take her quickly so that she can ask her
Okay.
question. Marchi, please go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, now I
Yes,
can
I
hear you.
can.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Welcome.
Thank
Good
you, or
evening.
for a very practical presentation. So I have a couple of questions, but there's this one that is more pertinent. In my last role, I there was a point I felt like I wasn't efficient anymore, not because I couldn't do the job, but my manager is like the guy just decided not to give me tax anymore.
Mhm.
And I couldn't tie it to any inefficiency from my part. Where there was something he said do I hadn't done, or there was a deadline I did not meet up to, right? And of course, that affected my confidence because others will talk about impact of their work, and me, I'll come for meetings and it's like, Amarachi, you're not doing anything. So how do you navigate that kind of situation where, okay, you're even putting up your hands and saying, okay, there's a new role or there's a new opportunity, I want to do it, and they're saying no, yet they're still looking at you like you're not doing any work. How do you navigate that kind of situation?
Okay. There are two things to do in something like this. So the first is make sure that your work is being seen beyond your direct line manager, right? So um I was talking to the group of people last 2 weeks, right? Okay, about last 2 weeks, and I was talking about visibility. It's something I didn't get to cover here, where in terms of office politics, right? Office politics is everywhere, everywhere. So there are some people that they know that you are good, right? And this is, I'm assuming that, okay, you already know what you're doing, you do what you do well, but you have somebody that is trying to cover up and not make you shine and all that. It happens everywhere. Again, organizations are not perfect, right? You will see this kind of people. There are some people that will do you wicked. They will do you dirty. But at that point in time, you now need to ensure that you are being visible, not only to your line manager, you are being visible outside your line manager. So what are the things that you can do? Personally, I don't know what exactly it is you do, but the question I usually ask myself is, okay, what it is that I can do that I can showcase to the level above my manager? So this month I started something in my team where I just looked at my team and I said, what were the KPIs that are in this team that could be of insight to the CEO? And then I put everything together, and then I did like a full blown presentation. So I put those KPIs together and then tried to tell a story and all that. And then I sent it to the CEO and then copied my boss. Now, it's also a risk in this situation because the line manager can say, what is this? Why didn't you show it to me first before you showed it to them and blah, blah, blah. My manager said, I've sent it. Actually, I will send it at a time where my manager will not see it immediately, right? But I've sent it. They said, oh, sorry, I just worked on something and I just wanted them to, see what I do and all that. That's an example. Secondly is when you have a chance to speak with people above you, what are you saying? Very, very important. Or people that are higher than you and are not your manager. What are you saying? How are you showcasing yourself? What are the things that you are bringing to the table? When you are sending emails, how do you send those emails? Very important. I believe that it's not only your boss that you are dealing with, you're also dealing with other stakeholders. So let other stakeholders, after a point in time, it will be clear that it is the manager that is the winchi, and those managers, sometimes I wanted to say that they will not last, but sometimes some of them used to last, but the thing is, you need to ensure that you are visible beyond the level of your manager. You need to ensure that it is a fight. It is actually a fight. You actually need to now start. It's like you are marketing yourself, especially if you know you are good. You are marketing yourself and you're positioning yourself. Sometimes that organization is just not for you. And after you have pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and you're like, okay, it's not for me. It's time for me to move. Yeah. But ensure that where you are showcasing yourself, you're being visible. When you have a chance to present to people senior than you do a good job. When you have a chance to send an email, your email is well written with details, with attachments and all that. You're providing insight into what you currently do. You are showing that, hey, I'm good at this. I'm not just a blah, blah, blah. And the truth is, again, everybody has weaknesses. I heard that you guys talked about imposter syndrome in the last time. And this is a topic that is very passionate to me, right? People use your weaknesses to try and make you feel that you're nothing. No, everybody has strengths. Everybody has weaknesses. Now, it's your job to ensure that you are working on those strengths and projecting your strengths. Yes, you also need to work on the weaknesses. Your weakness will possibly never be a strength, yeah? But people will make you feel like you are all about your weakness. But your job is to let your strength shine through, right? And yes, you are working on those weaknesses, but let the weaknesses shine stronger than, let your strengths shine stronger than those weaknesses, right? And keep ensuring, because the other day, honestly, I was sitting down, I think I was reading something about Michael Jackson, and I realized that this guy's strengths were that he sings well, but he had so many insecurities. He was thinking about his skin and all that. How do people perceive me and all? And then he got on drugs and all that. And in my mind, I'm just like, this guy did not know how much the world, like, this is how many years after his death. People were still posting. It was a whole post dedicated to Michael Jackson and all that, how people loved him. I said, this guy was so blinded by his weaknesses. He was so blinded by the vitiligo that he had on his skin. He was so self-conscious that, okay, he's black, and then he now start bleaching and then doing all those things and all that. Instead of him to be focusing on what he's good at, the dancing and the singing. That's what he's good at. Yes, you have weaknesses, but people love you regardless. People loved him for those weaknesses. Yes, there'll have been a few people that would have, because of jealousy and all that, spited him. People who were racist as well, they'll have made comments about him that, oh, this black nigger, blah, blah, blah. But hey, there's nobody that has it all. Nobody. So it's now nobody will project those strengths for you. You are the one that ought to project those strengths, and don't let those weaknesses weigh you down. Like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Yes, the one that you can work on. The one that you cannot work on, like Michael Jackson now. Skin color, there's nothing you can do about it. Although he decided to bleach and spoil himself, right? But just ensure that your strengths are being amplified and are visible as well, and people are seeing that. My boss taught me one wicked strategy. Like I said, this guy is wicked. He said the way to deal with your enemy, he said, you need to get close to them and know what their weakness is, then press them on that weakness. Say, as in that politics of the house. He was like, yes, all right, forget all this nice. He was like, nice girls don't get the corner office. He said, see, people that you don't like, you get close to them so that you know their weakness. Fine, I didn't totally agree 100% with him, but I saw the sense in what he said. He said, see, they are trying to step on your weaknesses. You to find out their weaknesses, find out the area where they are not good in. I used to start pressing it, and I said, okay. So if that's what they are doing, then it's a fight. And a lot of times in offices, it's a power tussle. And you cannot say, oh, I'm a Christian, or they know used to do politics in my side. You will do it. You will do it. And you will do it with your full chest. Like, we will fight these things. Who do you think you are? You now want to come and make me look like I'm not all that and everything. No, You will not. You will not, because there's something I'm good at, and I'm good at it. And I'll own it with my full chest. I'm good. Yes, I did not do this one. Yes, I did not do this one. Okay, but this one that I'm good at, you get. So sorry. When I hear things like this, I get very passionate about it. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Thank you so much, Ore. Another question that came in. Someone is asking that as a leader, how do you stand firm without being seen as mean?
How do you stand firm without being seen as mean? The truth is, I want to take that from another angle to say that don't focus on being nice, right? Because how do I put it? So somebody, I remember something that someone said. Someone made a comment. It was one of the leaders that just left my company. He moved to another position. He became the country manager in one of the countries in West Africa. And he was saying that, see, what made him successful, that he wasn't nice. Nobody would look at him and say he's nice. But he said, people look at nice leaders are the ones that, oh, they accept when they talk to you in a nice way. Oh, don't do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. He was like, I focus on my results. He said, see, if I need to get something done, I will step on some toes, right? Especially if you are convinced that this is the right thing to do. You have to tight your chest and say, okay, there are some people, if you look at me as being mean, be mean. But at the end of the day, are you going to look at the trade-off, right? Are you going to achieve what is that thing you wanted to achieve? And people are going to look at you as, oh, this person is mean, she's not nice, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Like I said, nice people don't get the corner office. In fact, there was a time when I used to complain, I joined them to complain in my office that, Nestle, they like a certain type of people. You must be firm, you must be talking somehow, you must be blah, blah, blah. After a while, I stopped complaining, and I started talking like them. I said, because especially when I see something that is not wrong, and people are now trying to rush over me that, no, you did not talk to me the right way. You did not. I said, am I saying facts? I'm saying the facts. Don't try and divert the attention that you are not nice, blah, 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 because people are using it to deflect. They're using it to deflect attention on the points that you are making, especially when you know that there's something that needs to be changed and something that is not right. Unfortunately, you need to move your focus from not being seen as mean. If some people will see you as mean, take it like that. Some people will see you as mean, but the people that actually know you and know the real you, they will appreciate you that, okay, this is why you are doing something like this, and that they understand that you are like this. But definitely, no matter what, there are some people that will not like you. There's some people that say you are wicked. There's some people that will say you are not nice. You must be okay with it. You must be very, very. The fact that you are even concerned about not being seen as mean, it means that you are a nice person naturally. So don't bother yourself about how they look at you. Because the real mean people, they don't care. They don't care. If like look at me and me, I don't care. Like that's your own pot of tea. But the fact that you are bothered about it means that naturally you're a nice person. And your real personality will reflect through. But when it comes to business, we are here for business. I'm not here for friendship. We're here to get the job done at the end of the day. Yes, if I make a friend or two and all that, fine. But don't let friendship and being nice keep you from achieving your goals, right? Yep. Sorry, Eniola, I can only take one more question. Oh, sorry.
Yes, I don't think I have any other question
Oh, okay,
here. I
okay,
don't
okay.
think
All right.
anybody has any other question. So,
Okay.
already this has been fantastic. Honestly, nobody could have done it better, and it just had to be you. Thank you for giving up your time, for giving up your knowledge. Everything you have said here is so practical and so easy. Sometimes I tell people that this thing is just so easy when you understand that it's people you are dealing with. It's easy to just to get it right. So thank you so much. I don't know
Yeah.
if you have any last words you would like to share with people, how they can connect with you, and so that we can just
Yeah.
allow you to
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So I've said a lot of things today, and I hope you've learned a thing or two. I just wanted to say something that in your journey to climbing the career ladder, right? Remember to always make an impact on people. Remember that yes, you want to become a manager, but you also want to grow people and develop people. Always be interested in not how you can use them, right? But how you can grow them. They always say that people leave organization. People don't leave organization, they leave bosses, right? In the next 20, 30 years, it will not, those KPIs that you're chasing will not matter. Yes, you should chase the KPIs, but in addition, focus on developing and building the people around you. People will never forget, especially when they also rise in their career and all that. They would always remember that, oh, this person helped me, this person taught me, and this person showed me the ropes and all that. If you have any other further questions, on LinkedIn, I'm Adekoya, so you can always reach out to me there. On Instagram, I am Tiki Talks. That's TikkyTalks. So you can reach out to me at any point in time. Sorry. I have to go. Tomorrow is church service, so I need to go and have the service planning meeting. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. All right. Thank you. Thank you. You can leave
All
now.
right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to see you in the corner. All right, ladies. Thank you for joining this amazing session. I mean, it's okay now for us to drop what we have learned, what we are taking home. I mean, one major thing that stood out for me that Ore kept talking about was learning. Learning, always learn. You don't know too much, you can never know it all, so always learn. Make sure that wherever you are, even if you're still job hunting, if you're currently working or you're already experienced, always learn. And then the last thing she said, make impact wherever you are. Make impact, at work, make impact at home, make impact in the bus or in the transport, anywhere you are, make impact. So I don't know if anybody still has any question, but we can go back to our community, which is the weekend, and then we can, we'll continue this conversation on there. But this has been so insightful. Thank you everyone for joining. I'm not going to keep you guys waiting too long, or except anybody has any question. So if nobody has any question, I believe it's time we can all leave. Any question? All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. As you leave today, make sure that you remember to make impact. All right, everyone. It's been an amazing time. Bye.
Thank you, Ma. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Ma. Bye.